Hi, good evening, how are we all doing? Welcome to our match recap from tonight's Rovers game against Peterborough United. I predicted a 0-0 draw for tonight, and sadly, Rovers did their part in getting the nil part, but sadly let into the other end. Rovers didn't play, I thought, particularly badly tonight, but not to say I don't think they played very well either. Peterborough, simply put, they're more efficient than Rovers were. And like I said in my preview, you can see why Peterborough are near the top of the league. They're very efficient. They don't need a million chances to score goals. And they were full value for their 3 points. You look at a game like tonight, you think, oh, Rovers haven't scored. Can you look at the strikers for blame? Not really, because they didn't really have a lot of service. And I said this before, I think Hanlon and Daly are not strikers that are going to be creating loads of chances for themselves. So I was a little bit disappointed there wasn't a lot of service up to the front man. Rovers simply are just not creating enough going forward. Actually, on the ball and passing the ball around, we look all right. We don't look poor. We don't look especially great, but there has been a few posts already so far since the game has ended saying that we're shit, the manager needs to go and whatever. I don't think we're shit per se. Like I said, we're just not particularly good either. We're average. We're mediocre. We're not putting up any trees. We're not setting the world on fire with anything. And then that's the only sort of farewell I can look at it. I'm not going to sit here and start effing and jeffing at the players for losing tonight, because it was two pieces of quality that undid us. However, I'm not going to sit here and say that Rovers were unlucky. They deserved to lose tonight, but they didn't roll over and get their tummy tickled like against Doncaster or anything like that. The game itself, Rovers, like I said, didn't create anything. I can't think of a certain attempt where Rovers were unlucky. They did have a good shot early on from Nicholson, which was parried out. Nicholson is looking decent. I do start to wonder if his best position is out wide rather than through the middle. But he looked all right tonight. He got a good hour and a bit under his belt, so he didn't look too bad. I was right there when it came to my prediction of the starting 11 with Kilgore coming back in the team. I thought he did okay for his first game back in, although I will say I think for Peterborough's first goal we let them have far too much room on the ball. And it was a really good strike, and Jacola can't stop that. Similar, I know we're jumping ahead here, but the second goal, Rovers just didn't close them down enough. And when you kind of got that angle on goal, you've always got an opportunity to have a shot there. And it was a fantastic goal. And really, that was all Peterborough created. They had a shot towards the end, which Jacola tipped around the post. But apart from that, the game was relatively void of chances. But like I said, Rovers, they played some good football, just didn't really do anything with it. Similar to the whole game, played some decent football, but just didn't really go beyond sort of the halfway point in the opponent's half. Once they kind of get the ball there, they almost seem to freeze and they don't really seem to know what to do with it, or they're surrounded by a very, very good team that they're up against. And we've seen that the last 2 Tuesdays. We played 2 top teams in Hull and Peterborough, and they've both beaten us relatively convincingly there. And like I said before, I think it just shows how far off Rovers how far off the top sides Rovers are. As Garner said, I don't think we're a million miles away, but we're certainly nowhere near a sort of a top 10 finish. And that's not me, slating the players. Maybe it can come across that way, but just from what I've seen and where the players are at the moment in their careers, we're just not a top 10 club yet. And that's fine, it's okay, because we're building for the future and you can see what they're trying to do. However, as much as upbeat as I am trying to be about tonight's result, I am going to have to be honest with a few things tonight. So I thought Rovers were too late in the substitutions there. I know Ali Koiki came on for Dave Tutonda. But I do think Rovers needed to make a change before Peterborough got their second goal. I think I was on about 65 minutes. I think Rovers needed to make the change, between 5 to 10 minutes earlier on. If it's not working 10 minutes into the second half, change it. And by the time the subs came on, it was too late. Ostumer, I don't know what he's got to do to get a start. I think he should start the next game. And I think Rovers have got to go for a change of formation as well. I think they've kind of been found out now with the formation they're playing. By the looks of things, it's a 5-3-2. And I think Rovers have got to try and change that for the Walsall game on Saturday. I don't like using the FA Cup as an excuse to try a few things out, but I think Rovers will do this year. However, I'd like to see them have a crack at the FA Cup because financially it's never been more as important as it is this year for the FA Cup. But I would be in favour of Rovers changing a few things around. And looking at the league games coming up, Rovers do have a couple of winnable games sort of coming up before the lead up to Christmas. So there is a chance for Rovers to try and pull themselves a bit further up the league table. It does mean Rovers have now slipped to 15th place and are now only 3 points above the relegation zone. I do stand by that there are 4 teams worse than Rovers. Like I said, the manager's got to bear a bit of responsibility because the tactics. He needs to try and change that up a little bit. I just wish Garner would have a little bit more confidence in himself. And again, this is not me dragging him over the coals, but I just wish he would have a bit more bottle in himself, just to make that change a little bit earlier on, or to change the formation up a bit. So hopefully he can do that going into Saturday. My man of the match for tonight would probably be Jacola, probably. It's difficult when you lose. But I also want to say that, again, being a plus point, Rovers were trying to get the ball out wide as much as they could, especially in the second half. They were having a bit of a flurry here and there, but they're just not quite there yet. And it is annoying, but that'll come, I think. And I think hopefully, as the season wears on, Rovers would be, a little bit higher up than where they are now, and hopefully not looking over their shoulders. So disappointed tonight, but we move on. It's difficult to be as invested in the games, as I would be if I was attending. It's difficult watching a bloody TV monitor every week, but sadly it's becoming more used to it, but it's still not as enjoyable to watch. So that might have something to do with the way I'm looking at things at the moment. I'm sure it does. Have a great rest of your week. I will see you all on Friday for your match preview ahead of the game against Walsall on Saturday. Until then, have a great rest of your week. Take care. Bye-bye.